Hey guys, it's Tommeh, and welcome to another ToonTown Rewritten video. Just want to say right now, if I sound tired during this video, well, it's because I am. I'm recording this currently at 4:34 a.m., so yeah, that's just my little disclaimer for the video. But anyway, to get into the subject, this is going to be a video on, and this is probably going to be one of my more controversial videos, just because of what I'm going to say. Because this video is about greening, and if you don't know what greening is, well, first of all, you're living under a rock. Second of all, greening is the act of intentionally making someone go sad, and they call it greening because, of course, when you go sad, your laugh meter turns like a baby shit green, or something like that. So anyway, that's the definition of greening, and that is what I'm going to be talking about today, because it is a highly controversial, part of the game, it's subject in the game that there are a lot of people who do it, and there are a lot of people who are pretty outspoken against it. So I just thought it would make for a good topic to cover this because you know, I've seen a lot of greening in my time. So anyway, for a lot of my videos, what I do is I'll typically make a note card that kind of has like written down all the points that I'm trying to make and some other stuff like that, just so I can kind of remember my thoughts and go about it in an organized manner. And so when I tried to make a note card for this one, I tried to set it up in terms of instances where greening would be good and where it would be bad. So I started doing that. It's just when I was doing that, it just seemed to be that a lot of the times where I was saying it was bad or good, it just was so situational that it was really hard to kind of pin whether it really was bad or good, and I screwed that up. So let me just go into let me just say this. Most of the greening that occurs in this game typically occurs in the Cellbot VP. And that is just because that is really one of the only areas in which high tunes and low tunes really, I wouldn't say they're forced to be together, but that's really one of the only areas where low tunes and high tunes are just kind of intermingled, just because they're able to do the same activity. Like, for example, you don't often see 100 laughers in ToonTown Central doing things, whereas you don't see 15 laughers doing things in Donald's Dreamland. It's just not where they need to be. But the thing with the VP is that like, you don't need to be a specific laugh, you can just go in whenever you want to. And for that reason, that is why sort of the conflict arises, and that's why a lot of high tunes kind of look to greening as almost a way of population control in that situation. Now, I've already gone over my opinions on low tunes in the VP. I don't need to reiterate that. If you really want me to go into that, you can look at the 40 minutes total worth of footage that I have on it. But I'll spare the details and just say that my personal, brutally honest opinion on greening is I really don't have a problem with it so long as it's in the right situation. Now, that's probably going to get me a lot of flack, but allow me, before you hit the dislike button or go absolutely crazy, allow me to explain myself. So there are a lot, as I've said before, there are a lot of annoying things that some low tunes do that tend to annoy some of the higher players. And this ranges from, you know, just not knowing one's way around the game, to making poor gag choices, to just generally being childish in general. And a lot of times, like, it's not even the gag choices or anything like that. It's just how a player kind of presents himself and acts. And so personally, when I was making this good and bad list of when it would be a good time and a bad time, the only truly good time that I was able to pin down is when there's a trainer in a VP. Now, honestly, this is the only one that I kind of wholeheartedly agree with. I don't wholeheartedly agree with, like, greening as the answer. Don't necessarily quote me on that. But I do think that if someone is training and they're not listening, like, to anyone who's telling them not to train, then maybe the team would be a little better off without them. Because, you know, seeing an anvil in a VP battle is definitely not, it's kind of unsettling. It kind of just makes you think, like, why are you here? What are you doing? And honestly, like, when there's a trainer in a VP, a lot of people, and I'd like to say that the fair majority of people would say that, like, people might get greened, and, well, let me say it this way. I guess what I'm trying to say is that a lot of people, if they saw someone being greened in the VP who was training, they'd probably look the other way. I'm not saying that everyone would just, like, jump on their ass and green them, like, as a team. I'm just saying that if they were to die, no one would care, probably, just because they were training. And honestly, in the VP, like, low tunes are tolerated by a number of players, but trainers are typically tolerated by very, very few players, because everyone knows that the VP is not the place to train. So that's really the only good thing I could say. I jotted down a short list of bad things, and I could probably elaborate on these a little bit. So honestly, the first reason, which is highly popular, which I think is not a very good reason to green tunes, is just for being low tunes themselves. Now, this kind of applies to the VP, and I think I just screwed that up. Yes, I did. I kind of want to say this mostly in a sense of, like, cog buildings and even street fights sometimes. I know I said that the majority of the greening in this game... Oh, come on, please stay up there. I know I said that the majority of the greening in the game appears in the Cellbot VP, but there is a lot of, like, building greening, because technically all you need is a battle to green someone, and the only reason why it's so easy in cog bosses is because, you know, there's so many cogs to choose from, and, like, honestly, the rounds last so long. Like, it's not just, you know, 3 or 4 cogs in a cog building, or like 1 or 2 in a street fight. It's a lot more, so that's why it's, like, so much easier to green someone in those kinds of battles. But what I'm saying by this is, like, if someone's a low tune who's literally just trying to learn about the game, it's not really a good idea to green them, just because, like, honestly, high tunes are there for low tunes to look up to, you know? Like, you look up to your mother or your father, whoever, like, you know, an adult figure or a more experienced person in your life is, you know? And naturally, like, low tunes will look up to high tunes, and for a good reason, because high tunes typically present themselves as more experienced, they have more gags, they tend to know what they're doing most of the time in the game, and so it's natural for them to look up to high tunes. Now, the thing is, how can a low tune look up to a high tune who just kills them whenever they try to play the game or try to do something? Now, it's a touchy case when talking about the VP, because of course there's the argument that low tunes shouldn't be in high tunes. Hold on, this is just Rocky. He got on someone else's tune. Oh yeah, I guess it shall be known that he got terminated for the 4th time today. Yeah, well, I'll talk about that in another video. But anyway, so what I was saying is that it's kind of hard for a low tune to really, like, learn how to play the game from higher tunes when they're getting killed by them all the time. It's like, I don't know, like, you look up to these tunes because you think, oh, they're gonna help me out, they're gonna make me better at the game, you know, they're gonna show me what's right and what's wrong, and when... It's like growing up in a bad neighborhood. Like, trust me, I don't know this firsthand. Like, I grew up in a middle-class family, but I mean, like, if you're in a bad neighborhood, the people you look up to typically aren't the best of figures, because, you know, maybe you're just in a bad situation, and, like, I don't know, I'm getting way ahead of myself, but you guys get the point. So, honestly, like, it's kind of hard for a low tune to look up to a high tune that kind of way if they're just being killed by them. So, in that case, if someone's just a noob, like, I don't think it's right to green them. They're just trying to learn about the game, or if they know about the game, like, it's not like they're probably not doing anything wrong, so I don't see the point in that case exactly. So the next thing I wrote down is greening someone for, like, greening someone if you either don't want them there or don't like them. Now, this kind of applies to boarding groups or buildings. Like, if you have someone in a VP lobby that you don't want there, yet they're in your boarding group, like, there's so many better ways to go about this instead of taking them in and greening them. Because first of all, if you're greening them, you're wasting your own time. Like, honestly, in the time it takes to green someone, that's gonna add at least, like, 5 or 10 extra minutes. God damn it. 5 or 10 extra minutes onto your run. So if you're really worried about this low tune ruining your run, then just don't take them in the first place. Like, honestly, it's a much better solution than taking the extra time to green them. Like, if you're really looking for speed in your VP and you're pissed that a low tune's in your VP, just don't take them, because it's going to take longer to green them than it is to just do it without them. Like, honestly, that's just a dumb reason if someone is just a low tune, or you don't like them, or you don't want them. And that kind of applies to the whole teaching someone a lesson thing. If you really want to bring a low tune into a VP just to teach them a lesson and show them why they shouldn't be there, technically you're doing it. Like, technically you're showing them why they shouldn't be there. Oh my god, and that was a good shot. Like, technically you're showing them why they shouldn't be there, but it's not really in the right way. Just because, like, if they die naturally, then that's their own damn fault. I mean, like, if they died, they should know that they probably might have died, and, like, honestly, that's their fault. They shouldn't blame that on anyone else. But, you know, if you green... Oh, here comes Rocky. Like, if you green someone in a VP, just for fun, like, that's just dumb. That's not showing them anything. That's just making you look like a jackass. So there's not really much else I can say about that. It's just like, you know, be a good sport. Like, if you don't want someone in your group, don't take them. I mean, it's not hard to kick someone from a group, or if you're not the leader, it's not hard to ask someone in your group to kick them out. Like, it can simply be done without wasting your time, wasting an extra 10 minutes of your life greening someone and ruining their day, and also, like, providing mild amusement or satisfaction for yourself. It's just not worth it on all fronts. So honestly, that's kind of all I wrote down, to be quite honest. I do want to talk about one situation though, and this happened right just about when I was creating my channel. This happened maybe a year and a half ago. And for those of you who have seen this video, you may actually remember it, because someone got a video of me and put it on YouTube of me greening them and their friend. Now, this was, taken into account, this was like about a year and a half ago. This happened a long time ago. I don't green these days, but in this situation, I did. So, I'm just gonna go cards down on the table. What happened is, I was training on 2 tunes. I was on Brand and my other tune, Anchor, and I was training Anchor's gags. Now, I was outside of a 5-story building in the Berg, and it was an invasion. The invasion was like 1,000 cogs left. I basically had just enough time to do a 5-story. So, what I did was, I showed up at this building with both my tunes, ready to go, and suddenly, this monkey named Rosie and this other monkey named Bartholomew, they both show up. So I was like, okay, I don't want to go in a building with you. And I told them this. I was like, hey, I don't want to go in a building with you. Please leave me alone. And they hopped in the elevator with me. So I was like, okay, this is not fun. So I get out of the elevator. I go across the street to another 5-story building, which was just like happened to be not taken over. And that fucked up. So I did that, and I get in the elevator, and these people follow me, and I say it again. I say, please do not follow me. I want to do this building alone. And so I hop out, and I go to the other building, and they follow me again without saying anything. So at this point, I was like, alright, if that's the game you want to play, so be it. So I went in the building, and after the first floor, I told the guy, like, I told these 2 people, like, if you don't leave, I will green you. And so one of them, what was that? Oh my god! Oh my god, that is amazing. Put that on the highlight reel. Okay, sorry about that. So anyway, I told these people, if you do not leave me alone, I'm going to green you. And they said nothing still. So after the first floor, Bartholomew, the one monkey, he leaves, and I, like, don't go in the elevator yet. I look at Rosie, and I'm like, okay, are you gonna leave too? And she says no, and so I was like, okay, like, that's your decision, whatever. So anyway, oh, please don't roll over. Okay, good. So anyway, I go to the second floor, and Sure enough, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna green you. Like, I warned you ample amount of times, and you still did not do anything. So I start greening her, and what I didn't know is that she was recording this the whole time. And sure enough, like, a bunch of my friends later on, including Rocky, they were like, hey, Tommeh, you're on a video, like, on YouTube, and it shows you greening. And I was like, the fuck? Like, where? And they linked me to the video, and sure enough, it's this event that happened just earlier that day. And so I was like, oh my god, I know what this is. So I go ahead and I was just like, what the hell? Like, this is gonna screw my reputation, because that was kind of just when my channel was starting to kick off too. But sure enough, Rosie deleted the video and it was history and no one really got to see it. But honestly, that situation really made me think a lot about greening. Like, is it, like, should I have done that or not? And honestly, to be completely honest, I don't see a reason why I shouldn't have done that. Just because I warned them a bunch of times, and when someone doesn't listen to you like that, and they literally just keep going about it without any response or any answer or any, like, acknowledgement, then that's honestly their fault. That's just them not being courteous. Like, especially, and the thing that changes things is the fact that there were 2 5-story buildings in the vicinity. Like, I get it if you need help on your toon task, or if you're too low to take a building yourself, because these 2 monkeys, Bartholomew and Rosie, they were both about 54 laugh average gags. Like, they probably couldn't have taken a 5-story on their own, but still, like, you don't just force yourself into a situation without asking anyone. You don't just, like, you're not supposed to just be entitled to join someone else's group when you're unwanted. Like, that's just not how it works, especially when there's 2 buildings on the street. And they were both Lawbot buildings. Like, this was on Polar Place. I remember it just like it was yesterday. But anyway, it's just like, that situation begs the question, is greening right or wrong? In that situation, I honestly, I don't think it's right, but I don't think it's wrong either, because, like, when you have to, like, when you get in a situation like that, you kind of got to do what you got to do. Because, like, if someone's not listening like that, that's not your problem anymore. Like, you've done what you can to make things right and to put things in your favor and also sort it out for them as well. But if they just do that, then that's their fault. Like, honestly, you shouldn't have to deal with that problem. And wow, that did not go as I wanted. So that's all I have to say about that situation. Honestly, even at the end of this video, I was really hoping I could tie things in a little bit better. But when it comes to asking, like, whether greening is right or not, I really don't have a definitive answer, just because it's so situational, and honestly just depends on the case and, like, the time and what's going on and who the people are. Like, I guess one more example would be when Rocky was greening me, like in that video that I posted about a week ago. Honestly, like, that's not harming anyone. Like, I knew I was being greened, and we were on a Skype call together, so that shouldn't be, like, a bannable offense or anything. So, yeah, honestly, that's the last point I can go into. So my final, like, statement on this is that greening, it's just such a touchy subject, because obviously, like, in a game that stresses teamwork and, like, helping people out, you're not supposed to try to kill other people. But then again, ToonTown is kind of a unique game in which it allows, like, higher players and lower players to kind of play together and go in the same areas, at least in the Cellbot VP. Whereas you look at a game like, say, Wizard 101, and, you know, like, a lower player is not going to be able to go in some of the higher areas just because, like, they don't have access. The game doesn't grant them access. But, like, right as you set foot in the game, you can access any area in the entire game that you want, with the exception of the cog bosses immediately. But the thing is, when you look at the VP, where you can get all your suit parts having only a cupcake, a squirting flower, and 15 laugh, that's where the problem lies, because honestly, like, I understand that they wanted to introduce cog bosses early to tunes, but when you introduce it that early, like, it does cause some problems, and for the more hot-headed tunes, that will cause the potential for greening or killing other players. Like I said, this is ToonTown specific. Like, it's kind of hard to do this in other games, like killing your own teammates intentionally, but in this game, honestly, like, if you want to do it, like, it is a bannable offense. Everyone knows that. You can get banned for greening very easily. And if you want to take that risk, be my guest. Like, if you feel like it's right to green, go ahead. That is completely up to you. But as for me, I'm personally not going to risk it, because honestly, I feel like in any situation, like, there's probably a better solution than greening. Like, for example, you know, if you're having a fight with friends, like, there's a better situation than having a fist fight. Like, diplomacy honestly rules overall. I feel like a fucking, like, diplomat when I say this. But honestly, diplomacy and just talking things out, like, that can help everything. It's just, when it comes to when someone just doesn't listen, then that's up to you whether you want to use force. In the situation with those two monkeys to that building, I decided to use force. But in your situation, that's completely up to you. So anyway, excuse me, it's almost 5 a.m. I think I'm going to end this video off here, because I think I've touched upon all the points I wanted to. But yeah, if you have your own comments or opinions, feel free to put them in the comments section. I'd love to read them and kind of learn about where everyone's coming from in terms of this decision or this debate. So yeah, definitely let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And with that shitty golf shot, I will end this video. So, have a nice night. This is Tommeh, and I'll see you guys in the next video.